I don't have an iPod from 2017, so that's what's gonna have to... Yeah, that's good enough. Alright, so today we're taking a look at just the collection in general. Kind of like the whole entire thing in a way. But more specifically, I've noticed a pattern in my collecting. I have a lot from 2007, obviously, that was intentional. But I also have a lot from 2017, which is not intentional, but I just have it. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at things and see what the difference is, I guess, in all of these years. So, as you can see here, we have the MacBook Pro 2007, we have the 2007 MacBook, 2017, for all intents and purposes, MacBook, and 2017, for all intents and purposes, MacBook Pro. This one's like the most far off one, because this is a 2020 with the M1 chip in it, but they did sell this body style of MacBook Pro back in 2017. And also, we have the iMac back there. That's a 2017 as well. So, as you can see, I like my devices to end with a 7 on the year. So, pretty funny. But anyways, you can see all the devices here. Let's take a look at them. And like I said, I don't have a 2017 iPod, because that'd be an iPod Touch, and this is what I have. Did they make an iPod in 2017? Like an iPod Touch? I don't even remember. It feels like they would have probably. They probably made the 5th gen or the 6th gen iPod Touch in 2017, because I know they made that one for a while. But that doesn't matter. We're not taking a look at that. I don't have one to take a look at. So, this guy, yay, look, iPod software. It's pretty cool. Anyways, let's take a look at some phones, shall we? You can see here, we have the iPhone, the first one, and then the iPhone X, the 10th one, or whatever they were trying to push. Oh, there you go. Yeah, they're two very cool devices, each in their own way. You can see here, you got the original iPhone. Low battery, I know. And it would do everything you would want it to do, because you all probably remember the good old unveiling of this. It's an iPod, it's an internet search device, and a revolutionary phone. All that kind of stuff. But, yeah, looking back on it, it's more than that, honestly. It was just the beginning of something massive. And that massive thing was iPhones in general. I mean, I'm shooting this on an iPhone. iPhones do so much now, and it's cool. And then you compare it with the next really revolutionary iPhone, in my opinion, the iPhone X, which, yeah, is, as you can see, quite a bit different looking. And that's because there's no home button, there's no top bezel, hardly. That was a really, really debatable one on a lot of people, the notch. But yeah, you can see here, it's the iPhone X, and man, it's good looking. It really is. This is one of my favorite designs of all time, honestly, iPhone-wise. It's just so clean and smooth. Yeah, it just worked well. It really did. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And of course, size-wise, it's quite a bit bigger. If I just line the screens up here, you can see, yeah, quite a bit of difference there. But, still pretty nice. Still pretty nice. Obviously, this phone now, no longer receiving updates. We're starting to get into the years where all the 2017 devices are phasing out, unfortunately. This has just stopped receiving updates. This has stopped receiving updates, I think a bit ago, actually, because that's running a couple versions older than the current Mac OS. This one is running the current version of Mac OS just because, well, it's an M1 and it's actually a 2020. But the 2017 Pros, I believe, also stop at the version that this guy did. I'll have to look at that later because I don't remember. And the 2017 iMac. The normal 2017 iMacs, yes, they have stopped receiving updates. And, I mean, for good reason. Some of them were quite pathetic. You could still get a physical hard drive in them, and that was kind of goofy. However, this iMac that I love to talk about all the time is the iMac Pro from 2017. And it is up to date. If I'm not mistaken, this iMac Pro is either tied for or is the Mac with the most supported versions in terms of updates. Because right now, this has gone through 9 different updates, I believe, at the time of filming this. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is the last one it gets, this current one. But man, it's been a good run. It has. This iMac Pro has been killing it. And yeah, I got it used. I didn't get this thing new. I got it used just a year ago. And yeah, it's been holding down the fort for me real well. I had this video on it, actually. But yeah, let's get into the other devices and stuff. The MacBook Pro is acting up today. I don't know why. The Chinese battery doesn't want to hold a charge anymore, so oh well. I guess that'll just be that. But we can take a look at these other devices, specifically the MacBook and the MacBook. You can see here, how thin is that? Pretty awesome stuff. And I talked about in my MacBook Air video that they made a real skinny one the very next year after these came out, as in the MacBook Air. But this is what you had to deal with before that. This thing is huge. And this one's Chinese battery will still hold a charge. So I'll move this guy on over and get this guy here in the center. Lift that up. Power button. Please don't prove me wrong. Please just be taking forever. Okay, well, it was holding a charge, and now it's not. That's fine. There. Cool. Now. Much better, much better. And yeah, this will also be like just updates. But man, everything has changed so much in the last 10 years. I do have a 2007 iMac as well. It's just downstairs, and honestly, it's quite noisy down there right now, so I'm not going to go down there and film it. Also, the area that's around it is very messy, so, you know, it's going to be kind of a disaster if I want to do anything with it. But that's okay, because you could just, that's probably like, the design-wise, it's probably the least changed device out of all of these. It's just, I mean, it's the same big bezel, big chin bezel on the bottom with the Apple logo, and then the new one just got skinnier, so. But this MacBook here, it's quite a bit different. You can see it there. Good old Mac OS. Oh, sorry, I meant to say OS X. Look how nice it looks. Man, I love this background. Have I ever said that this is my favorite old Mac OS or OS X background? Good night. I corrected myself and had to do it again. In fact, it is so much my favorite that pause. It is so much my favorite that this one also uses that background. Yeah, I honestly, I didn't even realize that. I didn't realize that these guys had the same background, but that's pretty funny. I didn't plan that, I swear. I swear it's just been the same. But yeah, look, it's a MacBook. And this feels cheap, honestly. Like, it feels really cheap by today's standards. I know back in the day, this thing was probably killer. Like, just in terms of being a vibe. And it is kind of a vibe, still. Like, if you fold this down, you can see the red Apple logo, and I can do that. And that lights up red, which is pretty cool. And, I mean, you can't do much on this today, obviously. It's running Lion on it, but still, it's pretty cool device. I mean, you can do, like, some things on it, but I wouldn't trust it to get any work done at all. I did edit a video using this old OS completely a couple videos ago. It was my extremely high quality iPhone 15 Pro review, which you should go check out. And while you're checking out the rest of my channel, go ahead and subscribe, please. I think it's cool to see funny numbers go up. So, this is the old MacBook here, and it is pretty nice to look at. And like I was saying, it's pretty cheap looking nowadays. But honestly, it's like on par with the Walmart brands and the Target brands of laptops, like your really cheap stuff. It's got like the same build quality as that. And honestly, those laptops try and be skinnier. So this one, it doesn't flex like at all. It doesn't have much deck flex at all. But those ones do. And I mean, like pressing on the keys and stuff, like it doesn't flex. It's pretty solid. And the keyboard honestly feels decent. I like pressing the keyboard. The only thing that I can say though is it's not backlit at all, which I thought was strange because the MacBook Pro, the old one down there, does have backlit keys. And then the MacBook Air over there, I believe, also does have backlit keys as well. But this one does not, which I find strange. Anyways, moving on to the newer one. I'll go ahead and shut you down, actually, because you will not be needed again for a long time. Shut down. Shut down. There we go. The newer one. 2017 MacBook. This thing, very nice quality. Don't get me wrong, very nice quality. It is a much worse device to use than the old one, honestly. Oh man, it's more modern. You can actually do stuff on it because it is running a much more modern OS. And yeah, it just can't do it because it feels like they put the processor from the old MacBook into the new one. It's that slow. It lags on YouTube, like honestly, it's stuttery on YouTube, which is bad because that's primarily what I use this thing for, is just YouTube in bed or, you know, read PDFs on it. I was using it to outside when I was fixing one of my cars. This is the device I was using. And it does okay for that, but man, it is slow, 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 despite having an SSD. Also, I've talked about it before, butterfly keyboard. Oh yeah, that's garbage, honestly. Terrible keyboard. And yeah, it'll break. I'm confident of that. During the time I own this device, the keyboard's gonna break, because they all do. But other than that, it's a very nice looking device, I think. I really like the, I wish I had the gold one, I really do, because that's such a unique color, but this is the rose gold one, and it looks pretty good. And it came with rose gold stickers as well. I don't have them, the original owner does, but yeah, it's pretty cool. And of course, like I said, very slim, although that's your I/O. So you would think going from year to year, you would get better I/O and stuff, but no, you get worse I/O, because even if we just look down here at the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Pro, you can see the MacBook Pro, the older one, has so many ports, and then the MacBook Pro above has a headphone jack, and that's it. Come to the other side, and you can see the same situation. A lot of ports on one, not a lot on the other. Same for this one too. Well, there's a CD reader on that side. This side, there are a bunch of ports though. And yeah, that's kind of a theme, is ports being like that. Oh gosh, it's so annoying, dude. I just want a lot of ports back on my computer. Apple's kind of listened though, because on the MacBook Pros, they added back an HDMI port. Very, very cool. And an SD card reader. Very, very cool, Apple. Love that. I actually am so happy about that, because I love, like, for the iMac, this iMac here, the Pro, that's an exception. to the rule, because this iMac Pro has a ton of ports on the back of it. If we take the camera here, you can come and see that, well, you can't really see. Well, I can do this actually. Very lightweight device considering what it is. Look at all those ports. 4 USB-A's, SD card reader, headphone jack, 4 USB-C, and Ethernet. Come on, dude. That's pretty good. The only thing really missing there is like HDMI or something, but that's okay. You can see here the MacBook Pro from 2007. And right off the bat with this one, the screen is so much better, because that was the thing back in like the earlier 2000s and the mid 2000s and stuff like that, is when you were making a Pro line of device versus a standard line of devices, you could make this kind of difference and it be okay. I mean, you still can today. It's like the price bracket you'll have to put it in is a lot different. Like Apple can't do that, because Apple, they make more premium devices, right? I mean, they kind of do that with their iPhones and stuff, like the iPhone SE versus the 16 Pro Max. Big difference in price there, but with computers, can't really do that anymore. But back in this day, you could have a much nicer looking display. You could have, where's the button for it? Backlit keys, even though they won't turn on right now. You could have a much nicer keyboard. You could have metal instead of polycarbonate. And you could have just a much better looking device. And still, you could price them both at a high price bracket, because you're Apple and you can do that. But yeah, I mean, it's still a cool device though. A lot better than the MacBook, the normal one. It is running an older version. But like you can see, I have Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 in here, because if you watch one of my other videos, I played Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 on as many Mac devices as I could, and this one played it the best. So, I know, I couldn't believe it either. But yeah, it was, okay, iMac, going screensaver mode, cool. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome to be able to play retro games and stuff, because it does have a CD reader, and that's pretty cool. I can watch movies and stuff on it too, but I wouldn't subject myself to that when I do indeed have a normal size TV right here. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, anyways, you can still do it if you wanted to, and I mean, it won't do anything modern, much like the other MacBook. But yeah, that's kind of the big difference for this guy, is that the premium versus the normal MacBook is a huge difference compared to the newer one, which, oh goodness, which we could take a look at. And the materials are very much the same. Aluminum unibody, still very skinny. 2 USB-C ports. We open it up, and we can see that it looks kind of the same, you know. Same kind of keyboard. Well, it's not the butterfly keyboard. The MacBook Pros back in the day did have the butterfly keyboard. I mean, I guess I do technically have one here, but it's in bits and pieces and has no logic board or anything. So you can go look at me repairing the shitbox Mac to see the 2017 MacBook Pro, because that one is a 2017, like a true 2017. So, but this one has a good keyboard on it, but they did have the butterfly keyboard on them. And you can see, other than that though, I mean, compared to the normal MacBook, it's really not that much different. Same kind of screen, same bezel, same screen quality, and same overall design. It's not much of a change. So yeah, I mean, in terms of year-to-year stuff, over 10 years, what have we gained? What have we lost? We've definitely lost ports. We have lost ports in the computer world, that is. In the phone world, we have gained ports. The lightning connector, as much as it's hated now, back in 2017, it was still okay to some extent. We were just starting to see USB-C roll out on phones and stuff like that, because I had, before the iPhone X, I had a Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, And that was micro USB, which I hated. I hate micro USB so much. And then USB-C came out for the next generation, the S8 line of phones, and it was all cool. But Lightning port still acceptable back then, and much better than good old 30-pin. Man, that was an awful connector. It just felt like you were breaking it every time you put it in sometimes. It just, annoying. But this computer world, we've lost so many ports, except in the iMac Pro, which the iMac Pro is catered towards professional use, so it better have ports. But yeah, I mean, we've lost ports on our big devices. On our small devices, I say we've gained. And over 10 years, the phones are just amazingly better. Although it is cool to come back to this guy and see, man, look how small this thing was. Look at the camera. Look how small the camera is. Look at the bezels. And the screen size is so small. Satisfying noises. Old OS. It's satisfying to do that kind of stuff sometimes. And I'm a big nostalgia person, personally. So, that stuff's all cool to me. But then, you try and use any of it, and it's useless. Which, we knew that. I mean, they're super, super old devices at this point. So, 18-year-old devices nearly. And it's not a surprise that they don't work. What we're here to see is how they've improved over 10 years. And they've improved a lot. Because, I mean, you had this, for all intents and purposes, it's a 2017. So even though this one specifically is an M1, it's not an M1. It actually has it has a i5 up to an i7. Still 8 gigs of RAM is standard, I believe. And, yeah. It has an SSD, which makes things a lot faster. And you could option it up to pretty good stuff. It still runs hot, because Intel. And the Intel MacBooks pretty much all had thermal issues for the entirety of their life. I mean, I know, like, this guy had very little thermal issues, but that's just because it was really weak. Like, my MacBook Air, the original one, that thing, it runs a little toasty, I'll admit. I need to put max fan control on it just to see how hot it runs, but it runs hot. And yeah, other than that, guys, I mean, it's just such a difference after only 10 years. And I have a feeling we're not going to really see that again. I have a feeling in the next 10 years, 2027, in 2 years, devices are going to be largely the same as they were. And I have a feeling that in 2027, a lot of the devices, like the iMac Pro here and the MacBook over there, will still somewhat be usable. They'll still be able to do some simple tasks, and you'll still be able to actually do stuff on their OS. I could be wrong, but that's just my thoughts. I know none of them will be supported hardly anymore, as, you know, time goes on, they start losing support for updates. However, that's okay, because a lot of browsers and stuff will still support the older OSs up to a point. I know Steam recently just dropped support for El Capitan, which is a really old version. That's like OS X 10.11, I believe, and we're up to well over that. They just dropped Steam support for that, so you can't get Steam games anymore on El Capitan or even OpenSteam. But yeah, that's all to say that they'll support old OSs for a bit. I mean, that old MacBook there, or not the old one, the 2017 one, that still, like, can do everything on every website. I don't see any, like, unsupported anything at all, and that's running a 2-update old version. It's, yeah, it's something that's not uncommon to see, so I think in 2027, we'll see a lot of these devices still be used, because the progression and stuff hasn't gone as crazy as it did back in the early 2000s and stuff, so. Also, sorry, I'm recording this after I hit stop recording after the outro, but As for phones, I think phones will stay even more the same than... I mean, we've already seen it. You already see people complain all the time, like, oh, Apple's just going to release the same phone this year, and then they do. I think we're going to see phones stay the same. So in 2027, I'm going to still see people rocking these kind of phones. You still can rock this kind of phone. Like I said, it's not getting updates anymore, but it's perfectly usable. I mean, I use it sometimes just for messing around, like older OS. Or not older OS, but just older hardware and stuff. Just like, ooh, 3D touch, remember that one? Whoa, variable pressure. I use it for that, and I mean, it's still pretty nice to use. As for this guy, I mean, obviously this is useless, but we knew that. And yeah, so I think phones will stay even more the same than the computers will, and we'll be able to use 10-year-old phones no problem, as long as they stay reliable, because reliability seems to be the primary issue nowadays. And as for iPods, yeah, those, I don't even know if they existed in 2017. They definitely won't exist in 2027. No one uses iPods. Everyone has AirPods and a phone. Sorry, iPod. I love you. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because, yeah, I love reading the comments. And yeah, I know this was a bit of a longer video, but honestly, I just wanted to talk today. So, of course, I will be back next week, hopefully. I'm so sorry for not being on schedule a bunch recently, but I'll try and get back on it. I'll try and be good. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I already said all that. And yeah, see ya!